That is so true what you said. Neither of these guys have ever not been the guy. And that happens a lot with guys who enter the NFL. They've been the starters their whole lives. And so there's a transition there. And for the first week, they did a nice job. They immersed themselves, both of them, in the game plan. Did a lot of drill work on the side, both before and after practice. And then they get some scout team reps so they can get some balls airborne and make sure that they're staying in sync, of course, because really Dylan being one play away and Shedeur being 2 plays away.
Browns reporter from Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland, he hears that Shedeur, Ron, is not even running the scout team right now for the Browns.
The rookie has sold the most jerseys since the draft. It's not a first-round pick. It's Shedeur Sanders, the 144th pick in the draft. He just outsold everyone, including Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, even Abdul Carter. It's a reminder in 2025 that brand trumps everything.
They say numbers don't lie. So explain this. Shedeur Sanders, the NFL's top-selling rookie jersey, can't even get scout team reps. Not backup, not third string, not even pretending to be a quarterback during practice. This isn't some UFL mystery league. This is the Cleveland Browns, an NFL team that drafted Deion Sanders' son and is now treating him like a walk-on from a D3 program. What's really going on here? Some call it development, others call it disrespect. But one thing's clear, something is seriously off behind the scenes in Cleveland, and the silence around it almost feels intentional. Today, we're diving deep into a story the NFL doesn't want to talk about. How an elite QB prospect turned viral headline is being buried alive on the Browns bench. And why fans everywhere are suddenly shouting one thing. #FreeShedeur. The Cleveland Browns don't have a quarterback room. They've got a quarterback circus. And right now, Shedeur Sanders isn't even in the tent. They've got a veteran in Joe Flacco with more experience than most coaching staffs. Then there's Dillon Gabriel, rookie, hungry, and already getting second-team reps. And now, out of nowhere, Bailey Zappi jumps the line and slides in as QB3. That puts Shedeur Sanders at QB4. 4. On a team that only plans to keep 2 or 3 active on game day. And here's the kicker. He's not just fourth string. He's not even participating. Reports out of Cleveland say Shedeur is showing up, suiting up, and standing on the sideline. Not throwing, not running drills, not even pretending he might play. So here's the question everyone's asking. Why did the Browns draft him in the first place? You don't pick up one of the most well-known college quarterbacks, slap him with a playbook, and then bench him so deep he can't even run a scout offense. That's not development. That's a setup.
When they're running scout team offense, Shedeur Sanders is not allowed to touch a football. According to Rizzo in Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders isn't even on the field for anything. He's a bystander watching practice. And I happen to love that. Because for everyone out there that was yelling and screaming about how the Browns were disrespecting Shedeur and the NFL disrespected Shedeur, if a dude can play, you find a way to play him. Period. Stop. So the fact that he started the season off as the 3rd quarterback, and now we're finding out he's 4th behind.
Even Browns insiders are confused. This team has a long history of quarterback mismanagement, but this one feels different, almost intentional. And despite the front office spinning this as normal, fans aren't buying it. Because when your quarterback room has 4 bodies but only one storyline, and that storyline is, why is Shedeur being silenced? It stops being football and starts feeling like politics. Leave it to the Cleveland Browns to turn a routine NFL practice into something that feels like a rejected Netflix drama. Scout team reps, usually the most meaningless, forgettable part of any training camp, have now become the center of a media storm, with Shedeur Sanders cast as the lead in a story nobody asked for. But everybody's watching. Let's be clear, scout teams aren't even supposed to matter. They don't run their own plays. They don't prepare for Sundays. They're just bodies on the field, mimicking opposing offenses to help the defense prepare.
ESPN has reported that Shedeur Sanders is not receiving any reps. That means no second team, third team, not even scout team reps. Meaning he's just sitting in practice, throwing the ball to whoever and just going through drills all day. No practice reps? No nothing? He can't improve? Why? Why is he not given an opportunity to even improve his skills? That's the whole point of practice. I understand not letting him go with the ones at this point. You've made it clear. Maybe even second team.
But in Cleveland, yeah, not so simple. Here, even the scout team has politics. Word got out that while other rookies are taking live reps, jogging through the motions, making throws, building chemistry, Shedeur isn't even touching the football. He's not fake running Baltimore's offense. He's not throwing as Lamar Jackson. He's not imitating Joe Burrow. He's watching from the sideline like a fan. And somehow, that became national news. It's almost comical. One of the most hyped rookies in recent memory, a walking viral moment in cleats, is being used less than a backup kicker. At this point, the Gatorade table sees more action than he does. And it's not just fans noticing. Reporters, analysts, even former players are raising eyebrows. Because scout team guys might not get limelight, but they still get reps. Shedeur? He gets nothing. And that's when the whispers started. Toxic ones. Something isn't right.
Quarterback development, because Kevin even said development doesn't stop even though you might not be a starter. What does the development look like during the week in the building? Where you said you talked about stuff going before and after practice on the field, but during the week, how are you ensuring that these guys are still learning to play, but they're really immersing themselves in understanding and still progressing and maybe getting on the field kind of validation?
Yeah, there's challenges there because you're not getting the time on task and getting the actual reps. So the drill work is crucial. The studying, I call them simulations, where we do almost stand-up meetings or walkthroughs, both in the meeting room and perhaps out on the grass or even in on the carpet where we have more space. So there's ways that we are trying to be creative, and it happens with each quarterback room in the whole league.
By now, you'd assume Shedeur Sanders is at least throwing a few warm-up passes, right? Maybe not running the top offense, but still. Doing something? Wrong. According to multiple reports, including Cleveland insider Tony Rizzo, Shedeur isn't taking any reps at all. Not first team, not second, not even scout team. He's not limited. He's being flat out iced. He's a quarterback without a football. Think about that. This isn't injuries. This isn't suspension. This isn't disciplinary. The Browns are voluntarily keeping Shedeur Sanders, a former Heisman candidate and one of the most talked about players in college football, last year, completely disconnected from the gameplay process. He's not throwing to practice receivers. He's not running opposing plays. He's not on the field during install. He's just standing there. At this point, you could swap him out with a traffic cone and no one would notice.
I was saying he can't do anything right. I recently saw last week when the kicker missed his kick in the last couple seconds, Shedeur went over to give him some words of encouragement, and y'all said that he just wanted some TV time. Newsflash, the only reason why the camera was over there is because Shedeur walked over there. You've been able to have an explanation for everything on why he's not good, why he can't play, but explain why you won't allow him to practice. Explain why you won't allow him to actually get better. Y'all are making it very obvious. You just want to bury him and so we can just stop talking.
And what makes it worse is that this isn't some behind-the-scenes quiet thing. This is very public. Every time the media checks in at camp, every time reps get tracked, guess who's not included? It's not just a snub, it's a message. And fans have received it loud and clear. Shedeur's not just on the outside looking in. He's not even near the building. Some say he's 2 plays away from playing. But judging by camp footage, he's 2 plays away from being a cardboard cutout. When things started heating up, the Browns did what every NFL team does when there's smoke. Roll out the quarterback coach to put out the fire. Enter Bill Musgrave, veteran coach, football lifer, and now, apparently, Cleveland's official minister of spin. Musgrave faced reporters and delivered what sounded like the kind of speech you give when you don't want to say anything but still have to fill airtime. Lots of words, zero clarity.
I'm sick and tired of seeing how the Cleveland Browns and the NFL is treating Shedeur Sanders. This right here got me hotter than fish grease. This got me hotter than Texas on an August noon when it's 111 degrees. This right here is bull dookie. I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying to stay kid friendly. But this is crazy. Bro not even running practice squad. They say he not even practicing. He just there.
All wrapped in football jargon so vague, it might as well have been written by a chat GPT that only speaks coach speak. He claimed Shedeur was getting creative reps, immersing in the game plan, and taking part in simulations on the carpet. Wait, what? Simulations on the carpet? Are we still talking football, or did we just wander into a drama club rehearsal? This wasn't honesty, it was verbal gymnastics. Because while Musgrave said, technically, Shedeur was involved in some kind of activity, he never confirmed actual on-field quarterback reps. Meanwhile, the reports from practice said otherwise, that Shedeur hasn't thrown a single pass in team drills, not one. Musgrave wasn't answering questions. He was buying time, saying just enough to keep reporters pacified, but not enough to explain what's really going on. And if his version of brutal honesty is a bunch of metaphors about walkthroughs and mental reps, then yeah, truth must have gotten waived during roster cuts.
Brother, I'm going, you know what? Let us go somewhere we can try and play.
Please.
We can be developed. There never was a four-man competition. Never. Shedeur was never in the competition. And if that's how the Browns see it, rightfully so. Why'd you draft him?
Because every time fans ask why Shedeur isn't playing, they get emotional TED Talks about growth through observation. Translation? He's benched, and they don't want to say why. Something's off. Fans see it. Reporters feel it. Even former players are starting to speak up. Because if this is what development looks like, it sure feels more like exile. And that's when the whispers start. According to league insiders and sources close to the team, there are growing suspicions that Shedeur Sanders was never really part of the plan in Cleveland. Some say he was drafted for publicity. Some say he was a late-round project pick they assumed would sit quietly. Others believe this is something a little more strategic. Rumors suggest that Shedeur's famous last name and everything that comes with it is scaring the Browns. The media attention, the spotlight, the potential involvement of Deion Sanders himself.
Were invaluable for Shedeur, for all of our offense. We got a 3rd and 1 where he had a quarterback sneak. I mean, there's just a lot of football, and that's by design with him getting a ton of reps in this game, and then we'll get a ton of reps next week as well. It's all part of our development.
Because let's be real, drafting Coach Prime's son doesn't come without expectations. And the Browns? They don't like expectations they didn't create. Reports have even hinted that Deion isn't happy behind the scenes. And why would he be? His son is showing up early, taking every note, staying after practice, and getting treated like a tryout punter. Fans are starting to speculate that this whole thing might be a slow-motion trade setup, that Deion is quietly pulling strings, and that Shedeur could be headed to a more contender-ready team who actually wants to develop him. And honestly, that theory makes more sense than what the Browns are saying. Because right now, they're asking you to believe that an NFL rookie with record-breaking jersey sales, viral popularity, and insane college tape can't even earn scout team snaps? If this is reality, it doesn't feel like football. It feels like sabotage.
Practice squad. They literally just got him there as a mascot at this point because they know that people are buying jerseys. He's literally like he's in the top 5 of #1 selling jerseys in the league, and he can't even get any practice. Yo, listen, we need to start a hashtag right now called FreeShedeur. Hashtag FreeShedeur. This has gotten out of control. The way they treating the Sanders boys, this is horrible. This is like the worst I've ever seen besides Colin Kaepernick.
Let's talk about the biggest contradiction in this entire saga. The Browns say Shedeur is developing, but publicly admit he's not getting any real reps. Let that sink in. You're supposed to be training one of the most high-profile quarterbacks of his draft class. But you've got him standing on the sidelines, watching other guys throw passes he's not allowed to throw, in a playbook he'll never run. And somehow that's called development. How? According to Bill Musgrave, it's all about simulated reps, carpet drills, and walkthroughs. He even said they hold stand-up meetings that are apparently just as valuable as real reps. Sorry, what? What world are we living in where pretending to run a play in a hotel lobby is equal to taking a snap under center? This isn't development, it's daycare with a playbook. Fans aren't dumb. They know that real progress for a young QB comes from live throws, timing with receivers, pressure situations.
Really looking forward to seeing the competition between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders in the last preseason game. I know it plays out like this sometimes, but a bummer that both didn't have the same opportunities to make plays. Dillon Gabriel played well again, but had good opportunities to make plays. Shedeur Sanders didn't have those same opportunities, so it was hard to make an assessment. This is a Hall of Famer, by the way, too. Hall of Fame quarterback. And he's telling you, it wasn't a fair assessment. One player had an opportunity to make plays.
Not shadowboxing with imaginary defenders in an empty room. The truth is, Musgrave's philosophy sounds less like a training model and more like excuses wrapped in football buzzwords. It's like telling a chef he'll get better by watching cooking shows without touching a stove. And when Shedeur's made-for-TV talent is being wasted on scouting drills behind quarterbacks with less upside, that's malpractice. Because let's be real, you don't draft a Ferrari and then brag about how great it parks. Imagine buying a Ferrari and then using it to plow a cornfield. That's exactly what the Cleveland Browns are doing with Shedeur Sanders. This isn't just mismanagement, it's a complete disrespect of talent. You don't have to think Shedeur is the next Mahomes to see what's wrong here. This is a quarterback who lit up college football with freakish athleticism, surgical accuracy, and poise under pressure. He thrived under the national spotlight and never once blinked. And now, he's standing on the sideline mimicking Lamar Jackson's footwork, throwing 0 passes, and developing by watching other guys play football? That's like giving someone an F1 race car and asking them to drive it through a Taco Bell drive-thru. Not because they aren't ready, but because no one wants to admit they don't know how to handle that kind of horsepower. Think about Shedeur's perspective here. You're the son of Deion Sanders. You've been groomed for the big stage your whole life. You survive brutal hits in college, handle the media like a pro, and show up to the league ready to work. And what do you get? 3rd string? 4th string? No snaps? Meanwhile, guys with less talent and far fewer expectations are throwing 35 times in practice and getting highlights on local TV. This isn't about fairness anymore. It's about the Browns being so afraid to admit they have no plan for Shedeur, that they're pretending this is the plan. The problem isn't that Shedeur isn't getting a shot. The problem is that everyone in Cleveland thinks this is normal. It's not. If the Browns thought they could bury this story quietly, they clearly forgot one major detail. The internet never sleeps. As soon as the reports surfaced that Shedeur Sanders wasn't getting reps, not with the 1s, 2s, or even scout team, NFL Twitter exploded. And it didn't take long before a new hashtag was born. #FreeShedeur. At first, it was a joke. Now, it's a full-blown movement. Fans, analysts, even retired NFL veterans are chiming in, demanding to know, why is one of the most high-profile rookies in the league being treated like a camp body. And it's not just noise. There's data to back it up. Shedeur's jersey? Top 5 in sales. He's outsold first-rounders, Pro Bowlers, even established veterans, but still can't get scout team snaps? Even Cleveland fans, diehard, loyal, used to disappointment, are starting to turn on the brass. Reddit threads are breaking down practice footage frame by frame. YouTube clips are going viral with titles like, "What are the Browns hiding?" And Twitter looks like an actual battlefield between confused supporters and those convinced Shedeur is being blackballed. Some fans are even comparing this situation to Colin Kaepernick, not in terms of activism, but in the way a talented quarterback is being denied basic opportunities and then handed a PR script instead of a football. Because let's be honest, if Shedeur Sanders wasn't a threat, nobody would care this much. But the fact that people are paying attention, that tells you everything. He doesn't have to perform to make headlines. He just has to be ignored. And that's exactly what if Deion Sanders didn't let the Browns draft his son by accident? What if this entire situation, the reps, the silence, the social media pressure, isn't mishandling, but strategy? Because let's be real, Deion doesn't just play football. He plays chess. And to some fans, this feels less like a rookie QB getting ignored and more like step 1 of a 4D plan to get Shedeur traded to a team that actually wants him. Think about it. What better way to generate buzz than to watch a rookie become a martyr? Ignore him long enough, let fans rally behind him, plant the seeds of a mistreatment narrative, and suddenly other GMs start circling. Because if Shedeur really is being buried on purpose, not because he's not good enough, but because he's too good to control, that's blood in the water. Every QB-needy team in the league starts paying attention. Coaches start making calls. And within months, the Browns are staring down real offers for a kid they've barely used. In that way, this could be the best thing to ever happen to Shedeur. Let the Browns mismanage him publicly. Let the fans cry foul. And when the time's right, flip the whole story on its head. Because we've seen this move before. Create chaos, wait for the market, and let value skyrocket without even playing a snap. If anyone could pull that off, it's Prime Time himself. Let's stop pretending this is only about the Browns. Because what they're doing to Shedeur Sanders, it's not unique. It's just the loudest example. Across the league, teams draft young quarterbacks with zero intention of playing them. They call it development, but really, it's just stalling. They sit them, silence them, then wrap it up in catchphrases like, "It's a learning year," or "We're building foundations." But what they don't say is the quiet part. They never had a real plan to develop him at all. And that's what's happening to Shedeur. Instead of reps, he's getting simulations. Instead of throws, he's getting theory. Instead of opportunity, he's getting optics. Optics the team can spin in interviews, but not defend with game tape. Because how do you explain burying a guy who led a D1 offense, handled national spotlight pressure with ease, and is literally outselling nearly every other rookie in merchandise, but can't get scout team snaps? You don't. You just hide behind PowerPoint slides and pretend walkthroughs at half speed somehow unlock NFL greatness. This isn't just bad strategy. It's developmental malpractice. And the worst part? Fans buy in. Front offices sell hope. Players sit. Years are wasted. By the time they're ready, the window's already closed. That's what makes Shedeur's case so dangerous to the narrative, because the whole league is watching. And the question everyone's afraid to answer is this: if you won't develop the quarterback with the most attention, the most marketability, the strongest brand,